Hey, do you want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or your computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating right now. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take your conversation with your fans to the next level, Q&A and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. I've hosted my podcast on Spotify for Podcasters since day one, so I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today.
Few things are as powerful.
What is going on, beautiful people? You are listening to the Affirmations for Black Girls podcast, where we focus on personal growth and cultivating a healthy relationship with ourselves. I am your host, Tyra, the creative actress, content creator, and mental health enthusiast. So let's jump into today's episode. Wow, I cannot believe I have a freaking podcast. Hey, y'all, my name is Tyra. I'm so glad to have you here. Here on Affirmations for Black Girls, I just want to create a safe space for us to talk about whatever we're going through. So just to give you a little rundown on how this is going to work, because this is episode 1. First, have you listened to the trailer? Second, have you listened to the monologue for season 1? If you skip the monologue, it's only like 3 or 4 minutes long. Go check it out, but it gives you an overarching view of what season 1 of Affirmations for Black Girls has in store for you. Season 1 is all about searching and finding yourself, and I'm going to call it Finding Me, because I am definitely in a new season in my life, and I am just searching for things and finding things about myself and really figuring out who Tyra, the creative, who Tyra Gabrielle Morrison is in the world, who she is in singleness, who she is as a creative. All of the above. I am on a journey to finding a lot of things out about myself, and I'm super excited that you guys are on the journey with me. So, a little rundown about how this is going to work. Every episode will have an affirmation that we will say and affirm together. So, with that being said, this week's affirmation, the very first affirmation of Affirmations for Black Girls, is my time is my energy, and my energy is more valuable than gold. So we're just going to take a couple of seconds to really embody that, and you guys repeat this with me. My time is my energy, and my energy is more valuable than gold. My time is my energy, and my energy is more valuable than gold. My time is my energy, and my energy is more valuable than gold. Wow, that really hit home for me, you guys, because our time is important, okay? And we need to treat it as such. Today, we're going to talk about respecting your time and normalize scheduling time to talk with your friends. So I'm going to be quite honest. I am not the best scheduler. It is something that I am just learning how to do. I'm just starting to use a calendar. And let me tell you, a calendar has been a complete game changer for me. And it's so important for us to really take charge of our time. So when I first decided, okay, Tyra, we really got to figure out how we're going to take control of our time, it was because I started to work from home. So as a self-employed person or a freelancer, you are in charge of your own schedule. And that can be daunting because when you have a 9 to 5, it's easy for you to just go into work and say, okay, I'm going to be here from 9 to 5 and I'm going to do whatever I got to do. But at 5 o'clock, I'm clocking out. But when you work for yourself, it can be challenging to separate work from home life, especially if you're working in the space that you live in. And that was really a struggle for me. And I would start feeling very anxious and be full of anxiety and frustration and just mad, just downright mad all the time. And I was like, what is going on? So I took inventory and I saw that I was not controlling my own time. I was just going with the flow, meaning if people wanted to call me, I would just pick up the phone at any time of the day. If people wanted me to help them out with something, I would just say yes because I don't have anything on my schedule. I mean, there's a ton of things that I could be doing, but it's not on my schedule. So I feel guilty if I don't help you out, and just a whole slew of things. So I started to talk to my therapist about this. And once I was explaining to her, like, hey, I feel like I never have enough time for myself. I feel like my friends or my family don't really respect my time. She said, baby girl, you got to respect your own time first. And granted, my therapist doesn't really talk that way, but that's the message that I received. We have to really respect our own time before other people will start to respect our time the way we want it to be respected. And that really hit home for me because I am really such a go with the flow person, but it is so important that you are making a schedule for yourself and sticking to it, because that's the only way people will really value your time and value what you have going on and think that it's important. So I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I downloaded the Calendly app and I set up a 10-minute, 15-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, and 2 hour combo calendar. And I send those Calendly links to my family. Now, if you don't know what Calendly is an online scheduling app that you can hook up to your Apple Calendar or your Google Calendar. And it is a game changer because once I started sending out my Calendly links, people started respecting my time more. They really knew that I was serious about what I had going on in the day. And that was super important for me because I really learned that my time is so valuable. Like there's like really no other way I can say it. Your time is super valuable and you have to be in control of it. And I also block out my time now. So I know on Mondays what I'm doing. I know what time I have free to talk to family or even spend time with myself or talk to friends. And I know what time I am working. So in those times where I am working, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I also have little reminders set up on my Alexa. So Alexa can say, hey, take a break, call your mom, call a family member, call a friend, answer your text messages. I have those set out throughout the day so that I do feel fulfilled in all areas of my life. And a big thing for me was to treat other people's time the same way that I wanted them to treat my time. And I realized how much people actually appreciated that. For example, I will send a text to a friend and say, hey, I would really like to talk to you. Give me a call as soon as you can. But now I take it a step further, actually, and I'll say, hey, we haven't talked in a while. Let's schedule some time to talk. Let me just say this loud and clear for everyone. We need to normalize scheduling time to talk to our friends. There has been so many times where I have just felt used and abused like an old rag because my friends will call me and I won't answer the phone and they'll say, oh, you're always working, or oh, you never have time, or you never answer the phone. And it makes me feel bad. Your girl starts feeling guilty. So in order to combat that, I decided to start sending them my Calendly link so I can make sure that I'm being intentional about the time that I have scheduled out for them and we can have a conversation and I'm not thinking about all the a million things that I have to do because this call just came out of the blue. And I make sure that I reciprocate that same thing so they know that I think that their time is just as valuable as mine is. What are some ways that you can take control of your time? It's really important to brainstorm some things that you can do on a daily basis to regain control of your time and to stand your ground when someone is testing your commitment to your schedule. So, okay, bring out your pens and paper if you want to write these down, but you'll quickly find out that I like action steps. So here are some tips that you can use to start finding consistency in having a schedule. So I would say my first tip for you guys is to be proactive. Schedule the time ahead of time. Like I said, reach out to that friend that you haven't talked to in 2 weeks and say, hey, I miss you. Let's put something in our schedules that works for both of us so we can have a phone call to catch up and really just be present in that moment. Tip number 2 would be to set gaps in your schedule that are allotted to call family and friends. Because let's be honest, you're not always going to have a time set aside to call your daddy, your mama, your grandma. Sometimes they just going to call. So I have gaps in my schedule. For example, 15 minutes after lunch, that's time where if I had a phone call, where if I had a missed call from my family, I can call them back in that time. And that's been a game changer. Tip number 3, use Calendly, you guys. So in the show notes, you'll see a link to Calendly. I'm not making any money off of this. It's just a Calendly, but it has been a huge game changer for me. And it's also Black owned, if I'm not mistaken. I heard that it was Black owned. I should probably double check that. But it is an online scheduling app, and you can set up a bunch of different appointment links and you can send them out to your friends and family, and it will automatically populate in your calendar. My next tip is be the first person to reach out. Call them. Do not wait for them to call you. I feel like when I was just waiting for everyone to call me, or when I got so busy that I wasn't calling anyone, I felt so bogged down and I felt so overwhelmed because I always had 3 to 4 people to call back every day. And being a self-employed person, you have to already wear like 6, 7 hats in your job and in your business, that I did not have time or even the mental capacity to hold a conversation with all of these family members or all of these friends at any time of the day. And to piggyback off of that, show them how you'd like your time to be treated by doing the same with their time. Like I said earlier, hey friend, we haven't talked in a long time, but I respect your time. Call me when you have some free time. Or does Friday at 6 p.m. work for you? Let's schedule something that works for us both so we can both be respectful of each other's time. That is super important, and it's something that needs to be normalized, y'all. Tip number 5 is to put your phone on Do Not Disturb during working hours. Oh my gosh. First of all, I'm going to just say this. I have 4 Apple devices. I have to remember to put 4 devices on Do Not Disturb because my cell phone and my iPad are automatically on Do Not Disturb during the day, but my computers are not. But Do Not Disturb has definitely been a game changer because it's out of sight, out of mind. And if you're the type of person where you really have to be available for family members, you can always add people to your exception list. So it'll let their calls come through even when your phone is on Do Not Disturb. This next tip is super big, y'all. Have your statement ready on why you can't talk if the person is persistent. This is super important because when you just give a response in the moment, it can seem like either you're lying, you're being ingenuine, or you're just basically throwing this person away, and that's not it at all. You could be flustered, you could be overwhelmed, you could be all of these things. So have your statement ready. So for example, one of my statements would be, hey girl, thank you so much for giving me a call. I miss you so much. I'm actually working right now and I have to focus on these projects. Can I give you a call back tonight after 6 p.m.? Does that work for you? Or something along those lines. So I let them know that I acknowledge that they called. I'm excited that they gave me a call. I am busy at the moment and this is very important to me, but I would really love to talk to you later. So let's be proactive and intentional and set a time later in the day or later in the week that works for us both. My 7th tip would be to set priorities. What is most important for you to get done today? Plan all of that out. Put that in your schedule. If you have to do, let's just say you had to do a photo shoot. How long is that photo shoot going to take? 2 hours, 3 hours? Block out that time in your schedule. Do you have a lot of emails to answer? How long is that going to take? 30 minutes? Put that in your schedule. And I think the biggest thing with this is that you don't overexert yourself or you don't put too much on your schedule for one day. And be gentle with yourself. If you don't get everything done in a day, it's okay. Praise yourself for what you did get done and give yourself grace, Save it for tomorrow, but do not stress yourself out because this is all about taking control of your time and being confident in your scheduling. And my last tip for you guys about taking control of your time is to be flexible. Sometimes you want to do things on a whim, like calling your mom, or sometimes she'll call you on a whim. you always want to have some level of flexibility. And I make sure that I have this, especially for my family. There will be times where I am responding to emails or I am cleaning the house and I will multitask. So I'll talk to my mom or I'll talk to a friend while I'm doing a task where it doesn't really take all of my brain power, so I can kill two birds with one stone, essentially. Okay, it is time for our first fun segment of Affirmations for Black Girls. You guys, we will have a bunch of segments coming, but I really wanted to open up with this fun segment called Count Your Blessings. And this is all about us sharing 3 things that we're grateful for at the moment and celebrating each other. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think about 3 things that you're grateful for, and it does not have to be anything big, just something that you are excited about, that you're like, thank you, God, for this. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think about that, and then I'm going to give you mine. So it is time to count our blessings. So my first blessing that I'm super excited about is that I just signed a lease to a new apartment. God is so good. I'm so excited about that. I also signed on with a new commercial agent because your girl is a SAG actress and I'm ready to book these commercials. I'm trying to be booked and busy this year. And the last thing that I'm super grateful for at the moment is I am taking control of my relationships. And we will dive deeper into that in the coming episodes. But overall, I am so excited that I am learning about relationships and learning about foundational relationships and how relationships should work and how healthy relationships are cultivated. And I'm just so ready for the journey. If you guys would like to share your blessings with me, please go follow us on Instagram at Affirmations for Black Girls and send me a DM or comment under one of our posts. It's a very new page. As you know, this is the first episode of the podcast, but follow us there because I will be posting affirmations and just some gems to get you through the day, okay? And I feel like this went by really fast. I could just be on an adrenaline high, but you guys, that's all that we have today. I'm so excited. Join us again next week for the next episode of Affirmations for Black Girls. Make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast to always hear the latest affirmations from your favorite Black girl, me, Tyra the Creative. And thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you next week.
Oh,